Another season in the books. Disappointment? Sure. Optimism? Absolutely. Lots to talk about. We'll get into some player awards, our thoughts on the season. I've got Glenn. Ryan will be along, hopefully momentarily. Let's get to it.
Oh, you gotta let that music run a little longer.
I could do that. I could do that. Just got to edit the video. What's going on there, Glenn, in New York?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a little chilly here, but I'm good.
What? Chilly?
I'm wearing. You can't see it. I'm wearing shorts. Nobody needs to see my legs, and it's just a little chilly. Yeah, I'm really. You know, it's funny. I'm really looking forward to. Did my voice break just there? I'm really looking forward to talking about Arsenal. I have done a complete 180 since that last game of the season in my mood, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it.
Since the last game is in since Sunday?
Since Sunday, yes. What is today's Tuesday, right? Or Wednesday? Yeah. I don't know. My wife was off Monday. Look, dude, all I'm saying is I'm feeling a hell of a lot better. Don't confuse me.
I think you should have been. You should have been feeling pretty good when the game was over. I mean, 5-0. You know what? I haven't even watched it.
You're like tricking me and you haven't even watched it.
I haven't even watched it.
At least I was just like, sorting joints while I was watching it.
Nice.
But seriously, yeah, I really felt nothing after that game. And I never tweet right after a game because my emotions usually change. But my timeline was full of people being so happy. I'm like, F it. I'm just going to say, hey, I'm not doing that well right now, but I'm getting better. And now, 1 or 2 days later, I'm feeling great about our season, about everything.
So what was the mood then after the game on? I've got to hear this. You've got to tell me. Ryan is here. I don't know what he's doing, but
the game meant nothing. It's like every time we scored 5 times and I never did my usual, cheering by myself downstairs in my house. I just was, maybe a slight smile because there were a couple of nice goals, but I kept thinking, damn, this should have been the clincher. I heard they were charging weeks and weeks ago $20,000 a ticket to that last game because they thought that would be the title clinching game. And, that's kind of the mood I was in. I was thinking this is going to be a title clinching game. Weeks ago, I was thinking that. So, yeah, I couldn't enjoy it. But as, Sophie wrote this beautiful piece on Xhaka. I read saw some really wonderful videos from Arsenal supporters. And I felt like a dick for feeling bad. I really did. And I went on and when I retweeted my tweet, I said, hey, I was wrong. I'm feeling good.
Was it just the fact that it was a dead rubber and it meant nothing? Was that the mood? Is that why? Or
no, it's just the anticipation of. I mean, it was just weeks ago. Didn't you look at this game saying like this could be the title clincher? And I feel bad for anybody that spent $20,000 or whatever you call it in England. You don't call it dollars in England. Whatever, 20,000 England dollars. I feel bad for anybody that spent that. But people were paying that price to be at that game, and that's the way I felt. So that game was nothing to me. It was a scrimmage.
Well, anybody that paid that kind of money to go to that game. I don't think you have to feel bad for them. I think if you're able to pay that kind of money to go to a game, you're not.
That's so true.
You know what I mean?
That is so true.
That's a splash in the pan to folks like that. I mean, maybe not. Maybe there is somebody out there that that really saw this coming. They saved their money. Put all the extra work in to make the money. And I don't know. But anyway, Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get where your head is at with it.
No, was.
Well,
I am good
yeah.
to go now. At least until Ryan starts talking, I'm good to go.
I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised at Ryan's attitude. Ryan says we're lagging behind. Are we?
Am
yeah, I don't know. It's not coming across on my end, but
it's not coming across here.
I will say, Ryan, you are very choppy. So I don't. It might be.
I think it's on your end, Ryan. Okay,
no, yeah,
so
I figured it was on my end.
All right, I've talked way long enough, so go ahead, guys.
I think Ryan. I think he's having.
He's okay.
Connectivity.
Well, can I ask you, BG? Because I mean, you remember it might have been a month ago, it might have been a little more than a month ago, but we were still feeling confident about the title race. And I said, if we, bottle this, are you going to be devastated? And you said no. And I teased the shit out of you for like 30 seconds saying, you lied to yourself, blah, blah, blah. How'd you feel when,
when it was kind of when it was the
officially
reality
over.
said it, I it was like, okay. All right. It just, it's not, you're a hockey guy. I'm a hockey guy. So this won't be lost on you. Hopefully it's not lost on viewers. Playoff overtime hockey, especially to win a series. It is, if you're the loser, it is hard stop. It is, here's the end of your season. Here's you. Done. Like, it just stops. That's it. The writing was on the wall for this. So, when it was confirmed that, that City were going to win, the writing had been on the wall for a couple of weeks. We weren't playing as well as what we had been. It wasn't. I mean, it sucks. I mean, we were there with 200 some odd days, but I think here's the thing, and I think maybe you'll agree with me on this. There's a chunk of our fans who, we didn't win a trophy, so blow it up. And part of me thinks, okay, it's clickbait. It's it's just, how angry can I be? That's going to bring the viewers in. That's going to bring the listeners in. Blah blah blah. And there's another group of those folks that just don't understand sports as it is. Only one team can win, right? I mean, only one team can win the Premier League. Only one team can win the FA Cup. Only one team can win the Champions League. So what Manchester City are doing is illegal, but they are a great semblance of talent, and they have a good coach, good manager. I don't know that I don't. Pep is a good manager. I don't know if Pep is a good coach.
I think Pep is went down the wrong throat. I think Pep is a great everything. But I agree with you. Manchester City is cheating.
Well,
and even when they strip their titles from the last few years and give it to us, it still won't feel that great, but whatever.
No, and at the end of the day, you look at that and they cheated to do it financially. They didn't cheat on the field to do it. I mean, okay, if you say, well, the players on the field, maybe some of them shouldn't have been. I get all that. But I don't know that Pep is a great manager. Ryan, that is infinitely better, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It's amazing. I could probably go to Manchester City and manage that team to a trophy. I could do that. When you have owners with the pockets that City Football, whatever their LLC is, when you could just go out and buy anyone you want, how hard is your job as a manager / coach? The hardest part of your job is saying, I think player A is better than player B, so I want player A. That's the hardest part of his job.
No, it's not that I disagree with you, BG, and Ryan. I'll shut up in 10 seconds. But I don't want this to devolve into sour grapes with Manchester City. We had a hell of a fucking year, and I'd like to talk about that. But anyway,
no, I agree. Real quick, and then we'll bring Ryan in on the topic here. But I kind of it was a little on Sunday, kind of anticlimactic, as it were for me. So I said you didn't hear me tell Glenn this, right? I haven't watched the game from Sunday.
Oh wow. Okay.
In fact, I don't even know who scored the last 2 goals. I think Xhaka scored the first 2, and then Saka had the third, but I have no clue who scored the last 2.
TVR scored 1. I don't know who scored the other one.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, that's why I was like, you really didn't watch the game. TVR and
wait. Are you watching Glenn? Are you watching Glenn right now?
What?
You weren't looking. The scene from the movie, the scene from the movie Friday when the dad is on the shitter and he's spraying the air. That's exactly what Glenn looked like.
Oh my god!
Shut the fuck up. All right. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Boy, don't smell Joe Schiffer.
I'm going to turn my camera off
for 5 minutes. Oh my god!
I am going to turn my camera off the next time a bug attacks me. Go ahead.
God, that was funny. But anyway, I was at work Sunday. So
Gabriel Jesus scored. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So I couldn't watch because it was on Peacock. I had it on my phone while I'm working, but I was working. I couldn't really watch. Shout out Carlisle United. Earning promotion.
I was going to text you.
Going up to League One, baby. Come on, let's go. I was probably more fired up about that than I was anything Arsenal related on Sunday.
BG, before I forget to ask you, I'm just noticing your hat. Where the fuck did you get that? I need one.
A lovely little place called Lids.
Lids. Okay.
No, I had it custom made.
Oh, I don't like it that much. I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding, asshole. Go ahead.
So anyway, bottom line, it anticlimactic. The adrenaline isn't going. Russ makes a good point. Pressure was off. Wolves are already in their flip flops, drinking pina. If you like pina coladas, yeah. Ryan, how'd you feel going into Sunday and then after it?
I don't know. I think I just love watching football. I was still excited. I wasn't excited. I wasn't as excited as I was during the season, but it's a game. It's our last game. I wasn't too thrilled with the lineup because to me, this and I do mean this. This game mattered less than a preseason friendly. So to me, you wanted to have send-offs for players like Granit Xhaka in the line. I mean, it's not confirmed that he's leaving for sure, but I don't expect him to be here come July. He'll probably be gone in June. Kieran Tierney, I don't think there's a place for him, and we'll probably talk about him awards-wise, maybe or maybe not. But
sorry.
I don't think he's going to be here, and I don't think Rob Holding's going to be here. Holding, I don't know if he should have started, but he should have gotten some game time. Tierney should have started. And I never thought ESR was leaving, so I'm not even going to bring that up. But obviously, we saw today that I was right, and I was always right. And I never worried at all that he was going to leave. And I knew, and I didn't start to burn my ESR shirt. No, I'm kidding. I did. I would never. But no. But no. So I was just surprised because this game meant nothing. And if anything, I don't want to go too deep into it, but if anything, he kind of clued teams into what he's trying to do. And for me, what I think he's trying to do is what we did so well with the inverted left back and the left 8 and like that whole situation. He wants to mirror that and do it on the right side. And people's like, oh, we didn't do it too well last game, and we did it, but obviously you're not going to get it perfect the first game. So I think he's really trying to perfect that. That way, when we play teams, if we start out doing that on the left, Arteta can maybe do a hand motion, could say something or whatever, and we could just completely switch it on its head and do it on the right side. So I like the idea, but I and I guess you want as much practice as you can with it. So like maybe I get it, but I think what Tierney has done for this club, and I will say this, and what Xhaka has done for this club, and to an extent Holding, let's not forget he did wear the armband for us for a few games, and he's a great locker room guy. I don't think he was as bad as the average Arsenal fan will tell you. That's again just my opinion. I think they should have been kind of honored a little bit, but after the game, I was excited. 5-0 win, a perfect end to a perfect season. I was happy about the 5-0 win because the people that were making fun of me and calling me delusional that we would finish third place before the season started, they were the fans that were saying we bottled the league, we're shit, and I still see Arteta out on Twitter and other social media. So I was just kind of like, I don't want to say it outright silenced them, but it was just another like, okay, like let me enjoy this 5-0 win. Yes, and I still stand by this. It mattered less than a preseason friendly, but I was still excited. I was excited for Kiwior to get his first goal. And like I said, it was a great send off for Xhaka. I wish he got his hat trick and a red card for a proper send off, but I mean, I'll take what I could get. 2 goals for him. I'm happy for him.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if that would have happened? That would have been like the football equivalent of the Gordie Howe hat trick. Score 3 goals and get a red card.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing. And Ryan, I will disagree with one thing you said. I don't think it quieted the Arteta out crowd. Because I like you said, I keep seeing it there. I was saying to Glenn.
I guess I saw it at the game. I saw it less. I saw more people praising the team.
Okay.
The stadium was rocking. Everyone was excited. Yeah. Everyone was happy.
Crowd was brilliant.
I think people kind of came together a little bit. Whereas if we drew or if we lost, I think it would have left a very sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. I still did see it, but it was definitely a lot less because I think people. I think I was actually surprised Wolves stayed up this season. I thought they were terrible. I watched.
They were really bad at the beginning.
They're not good, and I know that once they secured safety, they kind of went on vacation mode.
We've done all we
can
do. Yeah.
There's obviously talk that their manager's not going to be with the team next season, so they kind of don't give a shit. But I don't know. I was excited. I was happy for the win because I think it put the game put the season into perspective for a lot of fans that may have been like, don't know how to feel. Like, yeah, we almost won the league, but we didn't. We didn't win any trophies. So I think the 5-0 win was kind of like, let's just thank the team. Most wins in a Premier League season ever for us. So I think overall, it was a good season.
I just want to add one thing because I don't want to stereotype. I've seen Arteta out too, but I don't want to stereotype people who are Arteta out. We all deal with our frustrations and disappointment in different ways. A very good friend of mine, Diesel, check out his channel. He's Arteta out. He'll give you a list of reasons why he believes that Arteta can't take us any further. But let me also say this. I don't understand any of them. The only problem I have is there are a handful of people that don't like Arteta that call us all groupthink, or I don't know what the term is nowadays. I'm too old, but they confuse us. They say we're just zombies that just go one way, and we that's not true. So you want to be Arteta out, just don't be mean about it. But if you're Arteta out, to me it's like, what, do you deny the moon landings also? Holy cow, the man. Who would have signed up for second place right now? I know I took a shot there. I was angry.
What are you talking about? Moon landings? Who the fuck is landing on the moon? No, I'm kidding.
I meant to. Okay, now you made me lose my train of thought. But yeah, just don't call other people names. All right. Our Arsenal fans, they wouldn't even let Arteta speak at the end of the game because they couldn't stop cheering.
There's one person that I guess it's, I wouldn't say I consider him a friend. I think we've had some good discussions. Never met the guy. in person, and I don't want to call him out because he is very. I'll put it this way: if I could ever get him to come on the show, it would be tremendous because I'd love to question him.
I think I know who you're talking about, and he's like the nicest friggin' guy.
Can you put in the private chat? I don't know who the fuck you're talking about. I think I should.
I'll text it to you. He is like the nicest guy. When Claude died, I was on a couple shows with him, Claude from AFTV, and he is like the nicest guy. I'm sending it to you.
He's a great dude. But he's very. It's very. What do I want to say? It's all about trophies. He's one of those who, if you don't win it all,
you both text me 2 different things. That's okay. So funny.
So we're not talking about the same person. We're not talking about the same person.
Glenn, look in the private chat here, and you'll see who I put.
Yeah, I know who Glenn, like the guy that Glenn. I don't agree with anything you said about this person, Glenn. But I don't even know the person Tanner said, so that's interesting.
I can only go by personal experience with the person that I mentioned to you. All right, we're killing our viewers here.
Yeah, so. What are we talking about? Come on.
No, I'll wrap. It's like I said this to Glenn earlier. A lot of folks, I think, either do it the negativity merchants, as they're called, do it for it's clickbait, or they really legitimately just don't understand sports. And here's the thing with American owners, and I've said this for years, and no one wants to listen on outside of this country, and even diehard, the I'll say the traditional, football fans don't want to acknowledge this. American sports is a lot different. They're run from an ownership perspective a lot differently. And we have different things, and that's how we build our teams here through draft and free agency. That it doesn't
and
happen.
Trades,
yeah. But if you cannot see the project and B, the progression of the project, then you're simply watching a game with blinders on, and the only thing you look at is the final score. And no one will talk to you about how the game actually went. You can lose a game and play brilliantly. You can win a game and play like dog shit. We all know that. We've all seen it. But some people, I think, just blinders. What's the final score? And ultimately, that's all that matters. And it's not all that matters to Mikel Arteta and the coaching staff at Arsenal. It's not all that matters to the players. It's not all that matters to ownership. Everything has to have a little context to it. So the Arteta out stuff, if you still are in that boat, I'm convinced you A, know nothing about sports, or B, you're doing it for clicks and views. End of discussion.
I really don't want to talk about this, but I kind of disagree. I'm not Arteta out by any stretch of the imagination, but I do have some reservations. I do have questions. I think he made a decision that I don't agree with, I guess, is kind of what I'm saying. He trusted too few players. He needed to trust more players. And it's going to be very interesting. And including this game against the Wolves kind of turned me, didn't make me too happy. Again, I think Tierney should have been, who knows? Tierney might be staying. Xhaka might be staying. Holding might be staying. I don't think so. I think I'm definitely making this up. I did read this somewhere. I don't know if I actually said this.
I'm sorry, you said I'm definitely making this up.
I read this. I just don't know how true this is, but apparently AD said we want at least 8 outgoings and 5 incomings for this summer. If 8 outgoings is the case, you got to figure Holding and Tierney and Xhaka are 3 of those 8. That should be easy. I just think Tierney has done so. Holding too, but I think we can all agree Tierney's probably done more for the club. We all wanted him to be captain a couple of seasons ago or last season. So it bothers me because you hear these things how when Unai Emery came to manage Arsenal. He got rid of all the posters, all the Thierry Henry and Bergkamp murals and everything. He got rid of all the Arsenal stuff. He didn't want the pressure. He didn't want the pressure of the Invincibles. He didn't want that. When Arteta was appointed, Arteta brought all that shit back. So he understands Arsenal culture. He played for Arsenal. So that I just don't understand why you don't want to give someone Tierney who's done well for the club. He's been a great locker room guy. He seems like one of the first people on the pitch for training. Same with Holding. They seem to not have put a foot wrong. I just don't to me, that's kind of lost on me. And I get it. We're a team that wants to kind of go above and beyond. We want to win Champions League. We want to win the Premier League. We're kind of stepping it up a few notches. I get that. But then I go back to my original comment. This game mattered less than a preseason friendly. And I stand by that statement. And if he doesn't agree with that, then that's fine. If you wanted to test your thing out, do it in the preseason. Is he trying to show Josh Kroenke what he needs? I don't know. But to me, I think that is something that should have been kind of especially with the way that he has brought the fans and the players together this season, you would think he would kind of honor the players a little bit. So I'm cautious about what he's going to do going forward.
Well, later on in the show, because I was talking with BG before,
but I'm not Arteta out. I promise.
That we're gonna do awards and we're gonna do ratings, including the manager. And I'm really looking forward, Ryan, to hearing your rating on Arteta. And he has to go before I do.
All right. Well, let's. You know what, Glenn? We'll treat that as a segue. Let's do it.
So, what do you want to give it a 1 to 10, A through F? What are we doing here?
I don't know.
1 through 10. The typical ratings, criteria, or I'll say ratings. Typical ratings. And the Department of Redundancy Department. So, give them a number 1 out of 10. Ryan, go.
My brain is terrible because, again, I saw a poll. I don't know who did it. Someone did it on Twitter. And it was, how would you – I think they said the season. So we'll get to that after. But I was just very confused at some of the comments. But and I would like to think – I don't know, Tanner. We're kind of neck and neck. Out of the three of us, I'd like to think I probably have had more reservations than the three of us about Arteta. I've questioned a lot of things he's done.
Mm-hmm.
I would say
BG has been pretty harsh on Arteta too. Not harsh.
Glenn, you got to use both your ears, not just one. Anyways, so yeah, I don't know. Some things worry me because some things that he's doing now, I don't see him changing.
Would you give your rating already?
Jesus. I'm getting there. And I get it. We need to be cutthroat. But in being cutthroat, you still want to instill the culture. You still want that culture. Or else we're just going to be another Man City without the money. So I don't want to go down that road. I kind of want to go more toward Liverpool. And we kind of adopted that culture with now having a song similar to You'll Never Walk Alone in North London Forever. And yeah, I don't know. But I would give him an 8. I want to be a dick and give him a 7.9. And you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna give him a 7.9 because I don't know. I think he's done a really good job, and he has brought the players and the fans and the staff all together. And the place, Emirates, is becoming a fortress. This team is going to be a problem, and we are ahead of schedule. Let's not get this twisted. Everyone was praying that we could get in the Champions League this season. We almost won the fucking league. We secured second place with a couple weeks left. But yeah, let's face facts here. We didn't win any trophies. And I think that is kind of an issue. And yeah, I would have gave him an 8, but not playing Kieran Tierney, just 7.9. I know that sounds lame, but it is what it is.
Okay, Glenn, you want me to go?
Yes, please. Can you go?
I'm not as thrilled with him as what Ryan is.
I know.
Ryan was thrilled with him.
I went. Yeah, I went.
8 out of
8
8 out of 10 is he would have gotten an 8 out of 10 from me.
It's a B.
If he'd have gotten an 8 out of 10 from me, if it was top 4 and we weren't where we were most of the season.
So, all right. I have a question. I'm going to ask both of you this question right now. Would you have rather the season we just had, or would you rather have all of our losses and wins all mixed together, but we still ended up with the same amount of points. Like essentially, I'm saying is, would you want less of a roller coaster?
It would have been more
points.
of a.
Oh
Yeah.
No, the roller coaster was fun. That's my answer to your question.
I think this is an easy answer.
I agree with Glenn. I want that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So like, I don't understand.
The highs are higher. The
guys,
lows are lower, but the highs are higher.
Because we've seen what this team could do now. Now we're like, oh fuck, like we're good.
Guys,
if we were steady the whole way, come on.
I could be off by a few days, but we were in first place for 265 days. That's fucking thrilling.
Exactly, and I'm shout out to Dublin Gunnar. That's kind of what you're saying. You're taking points away because you're on top longer, and we didn't win.
Here's why. So I'll explain
Sam
it.
Gave me 7. I'll give you the number. My 7.9.
I'm going with Sam. I agree with Sam. I'm going 7 out of 10. I just saw the 7. I didn't read any of the comment yet. But here's why. Here's why I drop it down, even though we were on top for so long. Because when you get to that point, and you're playing as well as you are, and you are on top, and you know what's coming down the road. In other words, you have 3 games with Manchester City coming down the road because of postponements and everything else. Games got pushed back. You know what they're going to do. And they've done it for the last 4 or 5 years, where they flip that switch and they just come on strong at the end of the season. Arteta has to, and Ryan, you made the point, he has to trust more of his players, and he has to play them. He has to get better at making substitutions. He has to get better at rotation, and he has to get better at devising a plan B. Because for many stretches this year within games against lesser opponents, Newcastle comes to mind at home. We played brilliantly away, but Newcastle at home couldn't figure anything out. There's no plan B. In moments like that, there's no plan B. I'm not saying there's no plan B, period, but in those moments, there's no plan B.
I think those two situations go hand in hand. With not having the depth, with not having the players to trust, you're never going to have a plan B. Like against Wolves, that's technically our plan B, and we won 5-0. So to say he doesn't have a plan B, I kind of disagree. But in the same respect, I sort of agree, because he doesn't trust enough players. So to have a plan B doesn't make sense. So it's a weird cycle. But I gotta say, I'm a little upset, Sam. We don't talk more, and I think we need to, and I think we need to be on shows more, or just fucking shoot the shit. Like,
Sam's in the. Yeah. Oh, look at that, Sam! I haven't seen you in forever. How the hell you doing?
His dick's in my mouth. Let me talk here. So, anyways, I wish we DM more. I wish we talked more, but because I usually disagree with what he has to say. But he puts up such good points, and it's such a interesting, I don't even want to say debate or argument, but it's just an interesting conversation I have with him, because I'm always just like, no, like, you make a lot of sense. I don't, he's a very good arguer, debater.
Who is that? Who is this?
Sam.
Oh, Sam.
But yeah, I can't, I don't agree with what he's saying, how we, I mean, again, and this goes back to when we were in these cups. So Sam, you probably feel differently about this, but I know us three, and I know I don't really listen to any Arsenal podcasts, 1 or 2, but none of us wanted us to go further in any cup competitions. We wanted to say, screw Europa, screw the FA Cup, screw the what is it, Carabao?
I didn't say that.
We would rather have won the league than go further in the cup competitions. Did we not?
If like gun to my head, I would have rather have won the league.
Yeah,
but there was but I didn't. But I
I'm not saying we needed to put, and I agree. I didn't want to put all the eggs in the basket. But if you're telling me right now, hey, we could beat Sporting, and we had this debate. We had this debate many times. We were like, would you rather have beat Sporting and advance in Europa League, or get that 8-point advantage, or 11? I don't remember where we were, and we all agreed like, we don't really care about Europa. And I remember coming onto the show. It might have been the day after the Europa League game, or a couple days after. I don't remember, but I was pissed because of I couldn't even tell you who it was in Sporting, because frankly I don't care. They lost in the next round. They were mocking Xhaka and his goal celebration chant to his daughter, and they just thought they were like the next big thing. So I was upset at that. But then like you look on the other side, it's like, oh, like I think we were 8 points, 5 points clear with 2 games. They had 2 games in hand. I don't know. but it's just it's tough. It's tough to argue because, like I said, you're in the spur of the moment. I was maybe not all the eggs in the Premier League basket, but I was like, I don't care about these. I don't care about winning the FA Cup. If we have a chance to win the Premier League, the FA Cup, what? I don't care. Like, we were doing such big things at that time, and yes, it ends up, I guess, in a way coming back to bite us. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a, I don't want to say it's a weak argument, Sam, because Sam could have been like, oh no, I wanted us to do things in the Europa League. I wanted us to be in the FA Cup. I didn't really care about the league at the time because he knew Man City was going to turn it on, which I feel like in the back of my head, I did too. Talking to some of my friends while, about the league, and they're like, oh, you're scared of City? I'm like, there's no way they're going to win the rest of their games. Like, I'm not scared. Like, we could fuck it up. We have a very good chance of fucking it up. But, like, City's not going to win the rest of the games. They won their last – well, I mean, take the Brentford game out of it, but, like, I'm sure if they needed to win the Brentford game the other day, they would have won. They didn't play Haaland. They didn't play Foden. They didn't play any of their guys. But they won 12 straight games. They won their last 12 games. So, I mean, things happen.
Dear God, can I give my rating on Arteta now?
Oh, are you ready, Glenn? Because you wanted us to go. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, but I didn't.
I don't know. I never really got to finish why I gave my rating because some nuts down here jumped in again.
Can you please finish, BG?
I'm sorry. I like to jack off my friends when they're in the chat. Sam, I like you, and I wanted to show everybody how much I respect and like.
Would
Sam,
you please stop trying to drive Sam away?
No,
please, BG.
I agree with Dublin Gooner underestimating what he's done. I don't think I've underestimated it. When the club was a basket case, he's not just rebuilt a team; he's rebuilt a club, and I agree with all of that. But I think he could have done all of that and still gotten the substitutions better. Been better at rotation and resting players that we needed down the road to be at 100% fitness and conditioning and things like that. So that's why it's a 7 for me, because he's got to get better at those things. And at the beginning of the season, I did say, and you can check the tape because I know it's out there, but at the beginning of the season, I said top 4 and a trophy. That was the goal. The goal was top 4 and a trophy, and that trophy was Europa League. That's the one that I wanted to win. And I agree with Sam. Not winning the Europa League when in my opinion we absolutely should have. We should be playing in that final tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Wait, is it tomorrow or is it next week?
I didn't even.
Whatever the final is, we should be playing in it because we're good enough to be there.
So again, I completely agree with you. My only issue is none of us, and by none of us, I mean none of us in the Arsenal community thought we would be in the lead by several games to win the Premier League title. Whereas, yes, I completely agree with you. Top 4 in a trophy, if we were like third, fourth, playing this way and just like, okay, like we kind of Champions League locked up, but like we still got to win a couple. Like we still have to beat Newcastle away and maybe get points against Brighton. Yeah, but like that wasn't the case. Like and it was to our own detriment. We started off too hot. We were like, oh, our shit don't stink. You know what? Like we're young. We're a young team. We kind of don't know any better. Let's just. Arteta's like, I don't need all these. I don't need all these things on our plate right now. Let's just focus on the Premier League. We have a really big shot to win this. We could shock the world. Honestly, Canterbury. I kind of am leaning more towards 7.5 to me, and it's funny because I'm very like meticulous when it comes to like number ratings. That's like what is that? That's like a C plus. I got it.
I'd say 7.
He's a B.
It's like a B minus.
No, a B's an 80. A B's an 80. So an 8.
So if you give him 8 out of 10, 7.5 is a B minus.
Oh, I'd say it's a C plus. Tomato, tomato. Still though, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, all right.
I want to hear. I want you to finish, and I want to hear Glenn's rating.
I think I've made my points. Glenn, what's your number 4?
I agree.
First of all, I'm sorry if I check out like I just did. It had nothing to do with you guys or the conversation.
You're good.
My daughter's online in Manhattan for a Paramore concert, and if she texts me, you're gonna see me turn everything off.
Wait. They're
Paramore.
No. Where are they?
She's going to Paramore tonight and tomorrow. She has a hotel in the city.
Yeah, I would love to see Paramore. Block Party's opening. Block Party's a good band too.
What I want to say is I'm surprised at how much common ground we have in our criticism of Arteta. I really am, because I agree with a lot of what you guys said, but I'm also shocked by your numbers because second friggin' place against the best team in the world. We lose Saliba, and that was, for me, the reason we lost the title. I give Arteta a 9, and he loses 1 point for a little mismanagement of players. I thought there were some players that needed more time that he did not trust in, or whatever his reasoning was. But otherwise, I cannot give my manager less than a 9 for this amazing season we had. But I do agree with a lot of your criticisms. Maybe it's just like, we put more weight on it, and that's why we disagree so much.
It's so strange. Like, so Glenn is on one trick. To me, a difference between a 7 and a 9 is huge. And I agree with both of you. And yet I can't go all the way to one side and I can't go all the way to the other. So yeah, I agree, Glenn. I think it's just like what do you care more about? How do you do you take the highs more? Do you take the lows more? Like I guess I'm in the middle. I don't know, but like I don't disagree with your 9. I don't disagree with Tanner's 7. It's fucking crazy.
By the way, Danny from Burke Wonderland says me sucking on a straw during a show is a bad look, but I don't give a shit. Go ahead.
Well, Danny, you should have seen what he was sucking on before the show started.
Shut the fuck up.
Hey, even better, Danny. You're gonna love to see what Glenn's sucking on in a couple weeks when we're in Pittsburgh.
Oh dear God! Don't make me cancel my trip.
Yeah, that's right.
Go ahead, guys.
Tell
everybody.
Knows these two yokels are coming to my neck of the woods in 2 weeks.
Awesome. I cannot wait. I got goosebumps just thinking about it. I've met Ryan before. Despite his demeanor on YouTube, he is a wonderful person. And I cannot wait to meet you, BG, and steal your hat from you when you're not looking. Go ahead.
I will sick my dogs on you, sir.
Glenn, with all due respect, it's not going to fit on that big head of yours.
It probably isn't. Seriously, like I have the world's smallest head, and do with that information what you will. But this is a 7 1/8.
Oh, I have a big head.
Well, I think I'm a 7 1/8 actually.
All right, guys, we get distracted like freaking puppy dogs. We were on Arteta. I think you guys were going to yell at me or move on to the next thing. I don't remember.
No, we were great. We're moving on.
No, 9 is. Oh wow, 9 is.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so crazy. I think a 7 and 9 are two different things, but yet I agree with everything you guys said. So it's like, well,
I know it's weird. I don't even want to argue with you guys because you said a bunch of stuff I agree with.
I mean, I could debate the 9. I don't, and I'm not going to.
Last word. Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay.
That's why I'm comfortably in the middle.
All right. So we're kind of not really. I don't know. It's kind of all out of order. I don't know. I kind of thought we would save like the manager rating and the team rating, blah blah blah. But anyway,
well, let's. I mean, do the player ratings last. Who gives a shit? It's our show.
Season out of 10 on the whole. I mean, I don't. Is it redundant? I think it's the same thing.
To me, the season would be very
similar to Arteta. The first number that came in my head was 9. I'm like, oh, is that related to Arteta?
That's kind of where I'm at with it too. The first number that came into my head would be a 7.
Well, I mean, theoretically, in my opinion, I would probably go 8.5. I would go higher because the season was better than Arteta. I don't know if that makes sense. Like,
no. Like, but we're talking about everything. The team, the coach.
Yeah, but Arteta's game management, it impacted the season, I guess. But like, I don't know.
No, you make a good point. I think I'd probably go 8, 8.5 out of 10. Now that I think about it, just the season on the whole, 8. I can't go 8.5. I can't go higher than an 8. I can't go higher than an 8 if you don't win a trophy and you don't. I mean,
That's a good point.
The one we competed for was the league. And that was the hardest one to compete for, which tells me that we
against the best team in the world, even though they won't be the best team in the world.
Thank you.
But we should have shown better in the other 3 competitions that we were in. And the fact is now, and I don't want to look ahead too much. I'm just going to say this, but are we going to have the same excuse next year? Where, okay, well, we're fighting for the league, or we're showing well in Champions League, but we're 6th place in the Premier. Like, are we gonna have that same mentality of, oh, we'll put we want all of our eggs in this basket, not this. Like, Manchester City don't do that.
I feel so bad because I read this fantastic article, and I feel bad because I can't remember where I read it, but it was like an Arsenal synopsis and a look forward to next season. It was one of the big media people, and this guy said in his article, how's Arsenal going to do next year? That was basically, and he said, I see them in 2nd place again. They're going to improve during the summer, but nobody can beat Manchester City. And I was like, damn, he's right. And I said on another video show, I don't remember where I wrote this in the comments, but they were talking about Manchester City, and I said their MVP is their lawyers. So yeah, that article, who I can't remember the name of, I agree with that. I can see 2nd place. We get Declan Rice and some of these other names I'm hearing. Holy crap. Really excited.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to I'll say the season on the whole is probably more about the players, and I think that I think the players really started coming into their own this year, and I think a lot of them are they're right on they're right on the edge of being unbelievably great to world-class players. I think we have a couple players in there right now that could go on to be in the world-class debate. I don't think they're there yet, but I'd say we have 2 or 3, maybe 4 that are right on the edge, right on the precipice of being considered world-class. But the season on the whole, I would say is an 8. And I would say more just performance in games. There are some in there that we laid an egg, but young team, not a lot of rotation. So I think you're going to have that from time to time. And again, it's hate to keep coming back to the cliche, but it is a process. So
quick 10-second add on to that. With Arsenal now, I get that whole feeling of when Liverpool started getting good again when Klopp came on board. And I'm not saying that we can't win the title next year. I was just talking about an article that made a lot of sense to me. But yeah, going into next season, I'll be like, F Manchester City, we're going to win this damn thing.
Ryan,
what I thought I gave my.
Did you give a number? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave his number on the season.
I mean, we're not going to sit here and go through every single player.
No.
Just
go through that list. Go through the awards list.
I'm not giving ratings for players. We'd be here all day.
So let's go.
We'll do that in Pittsburgh, and then we'll have a real. Have a few beers, and there'll be some black eyes and purple nipples. Yeah, we'll figure it
out. Let's go. Goal of the year, Glenn.
Oh gosh. I'm going to go by the goal that excited me the most, which was Reiss Nelson, Bournemouth. Sorry for the loud backyard noises. Reiss Nelson, Bournemouth.
Ryan?
Yeah, the Reiss Nelson, Bournemouth goal probably,
the most exciting.
It gave me, I was not really that angry, but I was a tad angry just because we were in that fucking position to begin with. But I went crazy. I was happy. And I tweeted this and I've said it on a show. I cried because it was Reese Nelson and because of the shit that he had to go through, and people still doubted him, and for him to be in that spotlight to shine and to really give us it was the goal of the season. It was the moment of the season.
I'm going to be really nice to you, Ryan, right now. So don't think I'm about to be a dick. Ryan follows these kids from the academy. Like this is the thing I love most about him. So he knows their entire story. So forgive him if he shed a tear or two, because the guy knows his shit when it comes to the Utes. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Ryan. I just wanted to give you, because I'm always a dick to you.
No, but yeah, so it was definitely that goal, but just because I want to be different and because I want to give another, I guess, I don't know, nominee, but definitely the Reese Nelson Award, I think I would like to think you would say the same thing, Tanner. So I'm just going to say something different. And only because I'm going to reciprocate the love back to Glenn. And I'm going to say the moment is Eddie Nketiah's goal against Man U.
We were together for that one.
Yes, because me and Glenn were together. We were at the pub with a bunch of Arsenal fans, and the atmosphere was electric. It was crazy. It was wild. The Reese Nelson goal, I was home. I was home just by myself, so it was a little different. But
I might have picked that Nketiah goal when we were together, but seriously, I was filming it for a video you can find on my YouTube or Twitter, and I'm filming it, right? And I'm like, I can't shake, but I'm like, yeah. That's the way I was trying to film that video.
I'm going off the reservation here.
Ooh.
And part of it is because I want to be different, but all things considered, you know where I'm going now because you saw the comment.
Yeah, that was my funniest moment. But yeah,
I'm going with Brady's banana here, and I'm going with the Emi Martinez own goal.
Oh, that's a good goal. Nice call, Brady.
The Jorginho shot that hits the bar, comes down, hits him in the head, and goes in the net. And we were losing that game 2-0, by the way, and we looked like shit in that game for 60 minutes, maybe even 65. We didn't look like we were going to do shit. And then Zinchenko scored, which that was a hell of a goal in and of itself.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And then the Jorginho thing, and just I don't know. Is it wrong because it's considered an own goal by Emi Martinez?
No.
Does it lose? Does it not qualify because technically it's not scored by?
I don't know.
That was an awesome goal.
I honestly, those three are easily the top three for me. But I don't know if you guys saw this or anyone else in the chat saw it, but I think I saw it on Reddit. They listed all of like the goals, like who had the goals, assists. And it was broken down between cups, FA Cup, Europa League, Carabao, all that jazz. And then you go down, you see all the tallies, like who had the most, whatever. You go all the way down to the very, very end. You'll see they call Nenny 1 goal, Europa League, and then I think someone has an assist. I don't know who it was. And at the very end, Emi Martinez 1 goal, Arsenal, and I'm just like, yes, like that's just brilliant. So yeah, it was very, very, very good. And the fact that it was Jorginho too, I think it makes it a little bit funnier, a little bit better. So yeah, definitely, that's a good one.
Signing of the season. So a player that came in either in last summer or January, all qualify. Signing of the season.
Oh, I hate to be so boring. I'm boring, so I'm gonna go first. I got to give it to Trossard. I was like on disappointment alley from losing what's his face to Chelsea, and when we got Trossard, I was like, yeah, whatever. And he almost immediately won me over. I know it's the easy pick, but it's the first name that came to my head.
So surprised because I don't think that's the easy pick. I think the easy pick here is Zinchenko. I didn't even think of him. So I'm curious. Were you going to pick Trossard too?
Nope.
Okay. So I mean, to me, it's so funny. So I guess we're all going to argue how our signing was easily the best one. And if you know what, I have a feeling you're going to say. I feel like I know what you're going to say, Tanner, and I'm going to disagree with you, but whatever. Yeah, I think it's easily Zinchenko because I think he kind of showed us like, okay, like there's levels to this, and we're there. We could be there with Man City. Are we at Man City's level? No, but we're getting there. And for us, I think he showed us the play style that best suits this team as a whole. And I think he really shows what Arteta is trying to do here. And he is the guy for the job, the best guy for the job. And yeah, I think it's easily Zinchenko because it really glorified Arteta and glorified our system and really showed other teams like you can't really beat this. I mean, some teams have kind of cracked it a little bit, but when we're on our game, not many teams can stop us.
He would have got if we did it like how videos have top 10 rock bands of all time, but before they do number one, they do honorable mentions. Zinchenko would have been my honorable mention.
Who do you think I'm going to say, Ryan?
No, I don't want to know because I'm just like an idiot.
I think it's going to be Nketiah.
I think you're going to go out of the box and say something like, "Oh, Saliba," because it's his first year with us.
So, oh my God, that would be a great pick.
Count.
We lost the title because of Saliba. Wait, let's not argue over what we think his pick is going to be.
No, I'm going to let you go, but I'm going to say this: if you say Saliba, you can't because that doesn't count.
I thought about it. And I was going to say, well, he hasn't
be
played
that
here
dickhead that goes outside the box. And you go,
but I wanted to say when I thought about the category, and Zinchenko he's the low hanging fruit, but there were moments where I was like, okay, yes, he's doing certain things that haven't been done before, at least for us. Trossard had, I think Trossard is definitely up there. I'm going to say Jorginho. And here's why.
I'm not laughing at you.
No, here's why I'm going to say this. Number one, because I am being different. I don't want to just I don't want to pump the tires of the same people.
Oh, come on.
But here's why I'm going to say it's Jorginho. Number one, because of both of your reactions. Number one. Number two, because of both of your reactions when we signed him. Well, that's not true, Glenn. You weren't as over the top. This dude sucks as numbnuts down below.
Time out. I didn't say he sucks.
No, you didn't say he sucks. You hate him.
I think he's a dirty player that is like he's perfect for La Liga, where he'll go there, he'll hack you down, and he'll be dirty, and like, oh, what did I do? But then like if he gets touched, and he did it for us this season. He was flopping on the ground against Wolves, and I was like, dude, you're really wasting time. We're up 5-0. What are you doing? We're in stoppage time. Like shit like that, I can't stand. And Jorginho to me is like the guy. But I will say he surprised me in a good way. He did.
When he came on and he got his moments, I'm not going to necessarily say he was a difference maker. He was a difference maker when he needed to be. He steadied the ship when he needed to because remember, Thomas Partey was. I don't know where his head was in some of these games at the end of the season, but he was not the Thomas Partey that we were all, if he or Xhaka get hurt and miss any significant amount of time this season, we're kind of screwed because that our midfield with the two of them in it was off the charts at the beginning of the season and even coming back from the World Cup. And then he just kind of fell off. But here comes Jorginho, who for all the flack that he caught from you, Ryan, from a lot of people, and it's just like you come in and you do a job, and he came in and he did that job. I'm not saying he was perfect. Nobody is. But he, more often than not, he did not put a foot wrong, and he was a steadying presence in that number 6 role for us.
Here's my common ground with you, BG. He improved his defending big time, and he's just as good a passer as Odegaard. So, yeah, I mean, I lost track of how many times my breath was taken away from a Jorginho pass. So that's my only common ground with you.
And again, Trossard with the assists and if anybody who knows me, I put a lot of stock into that stuff. I love looking at the assist. I love seeing the build up. The goals are great. Obviously, that's what matters.
Yeah, you're a hockey guy. You give like 3 guys the
assist. 2 assists.
I mean, Glenn, you didn't. I don't think you got what
I'm an assist guy, man. I love seeing that. And the game against Fulham where he had 3 in the first half, just Trossard, that is. But again, I wanted to say something a little bit different than than you guys. I don't think any of us.
No, and to be fair,
if any of us are wrong about the signing, it is probably me.
I honestly take back my laugh. I agree with everything you said. I think, and we'll get to Xhaka later. I think when he was brought in, I was like, he's just going to be Xhaka. He's going to be unathletic, immobile. He has a good pass in him, but he's a dirty player. He's going to get sent off for us. I'm not a fan, but he took the position that Xhaka was. I know Partey was playing it, but Xhaka was also playing it last season and a couple seasons prior to that. And I think he was way better than Xhaka. And I was pleasantly surprised he didn't get sent off. I mean, maybe a couple yellow cards here and there. A little more flopping than I would have wanted, but yeah, he knows how to pick a pass out. And whereas I don't, if that's all you have in your arsenal, I'm not going to really grade. Yeah, I know. And yeah, that's why I said Tanner. I'm not going to really care too much about it, but he did. He studied the ship, and there was games where I was pleasantly surprised that, okay, he still got some movement with him. He was making some tackles. He was, he was playing, quality defense when we needed him to. So yeah.
The other thing too that I want to say real quick, just about those two, about the Jorginho and Trossard signings from January. I also have looked at these things from the standpoint that we know we're going to be in Champions League next year, and these players are going to have a role to play there in that competition. And so I think you're going to see Jorginho play. You may see him start in the group stages of the Champions League. There are just some players that I think, and I think Granit Xhaka is one of these players too, which to me is what probably the most disappointing aspect of his departure, of his, I'll say, supposed imminent departure from the club, is I think he would play so well in Champions League for us, because I think there are players who just play better in international competition. And I think Granit Xhaka is one of those guys. I think Jorginho is one of those guys. I think Trossard can be one of those guys. So the thing with those two signings is I think they were done, yes, for this season, but I also think there was an eye to the future, and that eye was on specifically the Champions League this upcoming season. Go ahead, Glenn.
I just wanted to say Fabrizio Romano says Xhaka's gone, so I'm going to talk from that perspective, because that guy is always right on with his shit. I hope with Xhaka gone, Jorginho stays. So that's
he's got a year. I mean, this is his look. George, anybody that bitches about Jorginho leaving us on a free transfer, again, simply doesn't understand sports. He was given an 18-month contract with us, so this now begins the end of his Arsenal tenure. I don't think he would be back after this season unless he does shit in the group stage of the Champions League that Arteta and Edu say, we can't lose you. We're going to give you another year. And that may well happen. If he's playing well enough to earn another year and he agrees to it, I'd be all right with that. But
I agree with all of that.
Yeah. So let's see. So we've done signing, we've done goal. I mean, I'm trying to save the last two. Is there anything trying to go through? Moment of the year I kind of put up there with goal of the year.
Yeah.
The moment of the year for me, I mean, I think we would all, it's either going to be Eddie's goal against United or it's going to be Reece's goal against Bournemouth. So I'm going back into the text message here to see what all we had said. Let's do most improved player.
Oh, I can't go first. I have to think about that. I'll say something stupid.
Most improved player. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. I mean,
I got it. I'll go first. Nketiah. The dude stepped up when we lost Jesus, and Nketiah needs props. He's getting lost in everybody's discussion. I made a video earlier in this last year where I'm like, we're misleading this kid. Would you please sell him already? Dude stepped up. And Kedia, most improved player.
Boy, it's tough. You know what? As crazy as this might sound for a player of his age, I'm going to say Granit Xhaka.
That's a great choice. He sucked for 4 years. He sucked his first fucking 4. Oh, sorry. He sucked his first 4 years here. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Granit Xhaka most improved, and it just kind of stinks that if he's on his way out the door, that I really think that there is still something there left for him to offer us. If there's a, I'll say, if the writing was on the wall for him, that he probably, that we would be looking at that. I have to think, I don't want to get into this, but I have to think that if Declan Rice is coming in and if we feel good about getting him, then I would think that would spell the end of Granit Xhaka's Arsenal career. But that would also say to me that they've got to be 98% confident that we're gonna land Declan Rice to let Granit Xhaka leave.
I wish Ryan, I don't know what he's doing, but
he's listening. He said
a couple weeks ago, he told me this Xhaka deal has been done for a while. Because I said, I guarantee
it very well could have been.
I texted him, I'm like, I bet you anything that Arsenal would not give Xhaka a multi-year deal. And the other guys did. And he said, no, this has been done for a while. So maybe he knows something we don't know, BG.
Yeah. Well,
remember, hey, Ryan, you remember? It was like a week ago.
I heard Xhaka had to come running back. What did I miss?
No, about a week. We were talking about whether Xhaka's staying or not. And I told BG how we did a little private message where I said, I guarantee it's because they wouldn't offer him a multi-year deal. And you told me, nah, they had this in the works for a while. What is it?
Oh, this is definitely in the works. Like, I'm always right. I'm never wrong. So, you
are not going to stay married with that attitude.
No, I genuinely believe that this was in the works for a while. I think when Arteta came in, I think he was going to leave, and it was funny. There was links to him leaving to Hoffenheim. No, it might have been Leverkusen, but I thought it was a Germany team that was blue. Hertha Berlin sounds right.
Yes, yeah, that's
he was like all as good as gone. And there was also a talk that he had talks with Jose Mourinho and he was going to Roma and he liked a bunch of Jose Mourinho's posts on Instagram.
Yeah, that was old. Wasn't that like 2 years ago? I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's my point. He was as good as gone. I think Arteta said, hey, listen, I'm making this position, this left 8. I want you to kind of be my dummy, test it out. I want you to help lead this team. And you get us in the Champions League, I'll sign your fucking papers. You can get out of here. Because he is a guy that I think, and we've talked to this at nauseum on this show, he's not a player that wants to come off the bench. Even if there's a player in front of him that's better, he wants to always play football. And you got to respect that, whether you agree with it or not. I think he could have did a job for us. I think he could have did a job kind of mentoring players. I mean, we're doing bigger and better things. So, like, obviously someone like a Charlie Patino probably won't be here next season either, but having him mentor a Charlie Patino or even a Sambi Lokonga would have been great. I don't think Sambi is long for this world either, but, I just think he has more value to us in the locker room and off the pitch, but that's not what he wants to do. And again, as a club, and especially as a club that we want to do bigger and better things, we have to respect that. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, we can get someone better and upgrade, and we could probably get 2 midfielders now that he's going, in Caicedo and Rice, or someone or 2 other players. But it's so funny. So I heard Glenn say Eddie. I actually went back and forth because you immediately said Eddie. I immediately said he might be my least improved player of the season. And then I kind of like walked it back a little bit, and I was like, no, yeah, we needed him. He came and he did a job, but we needed him last season, and he came in and did a job for us too. And I thought, like, even with Jesus coming back, like, he was going to be the 1-2 punch with Gabriel Jesus. I thought that Arteta was going to bring him in, and Arteta like re-signed him, and a lot of us didn't want him to get re-signed, and Arteta just kept talking about how he loves Eddie, and Eddie's going to be the guy, and Eddie is just such a good player. I just honestly, this season, he did a lot for us when he was our only choice. I still expected more from him, especially given what Arteta said about him last season. given what, he got his pay bump, he got his extension. Arteta put a lot of faith in him, and we didn't really see a lot of him. And yes, there was injuries involved. So that's why I kind of walked it back and was like, all right, maybe that's not true. He's not my least improved player. But funny here, Dublin, and funny here to everybody else. My most improved player is easily Granit Xhaka. It's not even close. I wanted him out of here. I was going to drive him to Hertha Berlin. I'm pretty sure Hertha Berlin now. I was going to drive him to Berlin. Now I don't need to drive him. To be upset. I won't go at lengths to say I had tears in my eyes when he scored against Wolves, and I would not be in that crowd chanting, "We want you to stay." I'm not going to go that far, but I give him a lot of respect as a player to do what he did, to being banished by the club, banished by the fans, and it looks like he was never going to win a shirt for us again.
Sorry, I was laughing at Dublin.
I know. So was I. To come back and to be, to me, the most improved player, to really be the crux of our season, and to really bring the season together and showing the world the left 8 and what it can do. Do I think players are going to do better with it with Arteta? I do, but he was the guy. He was the first one. And I give him a lot of respect, and I was happy. I throughout the season was chanting, "Granit Xhaka, we got." Yeah, I did. All right, I did. I'm a trend starter. Right? Leave me alone. And I respect the hell out of him, and he was great. Am I upset and having tears in my eyes that he's leaving? No. Although I did get teary-eyed when he went over after he scored a second goal. He went all the way across most of the pitch and he hugged Elneny. That got me teary-eyed. I'll give you that. But yeah, I know. I wish he could stay for us for the season to do some off-the-pitch stuff. But I do. I wish him well, and I'm not going to need to drive him there, and it'll be different without Granit Xhaka. I'll leave it. I won't go any further with that.
I just want to say one thing, because I've been hard on Xhaka, and it's the end of the season spectacular. So let me just say this, okay? After he gave that lame ass apology, I wanted nothing to do with him anymore. I said, okay, you're not going to apologize the right way. Show it to me on the field. And he did. So yeah, he would have been an honorable mention for me for most improved.
And just because I want to be different and I want to name someone else, I'm going to actually throw another hat into the ring.
Oh, I thought you said Xhaka.
Well, no, my answer is definitely Xhaka, but I'm going to be like Tanner, and I just want to be different. I want to throw another hat in the ring. I'm going to say Gabriel Martinelli. He led the team in goals.
Good choice.
And I also was someone going to the season, and I didn't value Martinelli as much as the average fan. I thought he was fast. I think he had pace. I just didn't really see him being a nailed on 11 for us if we want to win the league. I just didn't see it. He proved me wrong. Led the team in goals. I think he was he was a problem, whether he came off the bench, whether he started for us. I really do. Not that I didn't see a future with him. I think he was just, for me, going to be a player that we could groom, make him good, and put him on a stage, and he could just sell him for a profit. But now I really think he could be a guy in our 11 for the future, for years to come.
So
I'm listening.
Okay. Next category. Biggest, I don't want to say flop, but let's go biggest. Who's your biggest disappointment? Who did you expect more from that just didn't quite deliver? I'll go first. And to me,
Don't do it.
An obvious one.
No, I think I'm gonna wait till you say it, because if it's what I think you're gonna say, we're gonna have fighting words, and yeah, because we'll just go. Sorry,
Sambi Lokonga is the biggest.
Oh wow, no, that's not okay. Okay, not
what
I
think I was gonna say. You didn't think I was.
I don't want to. I don't want. No, I'm gonna wait for Glenn to go, because Glenn can still say it. So I'm not.
Okay.
Gonna say
I missed the last 60 seconds. My daughter's inside the venue.
Biggest disappointment. I don't want to use the word flop, but biggest disappointment. And I said Sambi Lokonga. It's just not coming together here. Obviously, shipping him out to Crystal Palace on loan. And
crazy. I don't even know how he did. He
didn't start. As far as I know, he did not. He may have started 2.
He
matches?
did thank Patrick Vieira before Vieira got sacked. He was very upset that he got sacked, and he put a whole post out about how it thanked him for starting the ropes and stuff. So like that's good, I guess.
Yeah, I hope my choice isn't too much of being a dick, but Fabio Vieira.
I thought I was next.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
No,
sorry,
it's
Ryan.
okay.
I lost. My daughter is in the venue. She's seeing Paramore tonight. She slept on a Manhattan sidewalk last night with a bunch of other insane people, and now they're inside the venue. So you have my full attention. But I lost track of who goes, Ryan. So I'm sorry.
No, you can go. It's fine. You already said it. So.
I said it.
Yeah, no, Fabio Vieira, great. That's why I was going to say. I think it's easily Fabio Vieira. It goes back to kind of back to Arteta, and Arteta waxed lyrical about how he's one of the best players he's ever seen, and he does this, he does, and I was expecting great things from him. And I will also be I think he could be a great player. I don't dislike him. I think he could, him and Martinelli, their friendship seems fun.
I didn't see enough of him.
I have a little sore spot not against him, but just because he's the guy that's coming out for Xhaka when I think ESR should come out for Xhaka. But with the tweet that came out today, I'm okay. And I think ESR is going to take Xhaka's spot in the long run. And maybe he just hasn't been ready. And he's playing and Arteta's playing the Martinelli card with ESR. So all is right in the world. But yeah, I think flop would definitely go to Fabio Vieira. And because we want to be different, and being different is awesome, and fuck yeah, why not be different? I'll just go back and say Eddie Nketiah, because again, Arteta waxed circle about him. We gave him more money, gave him a contract extension. Like, yeah, he was good for a few games when Gabriel was hurt, but like I don't know. I don't know. And I wasn't a big fan of his either. I was not a big fan of Eddie Nketiah. I didn't want us to re-sign him. I think we could get better even as a backup. But just the way he was propped up by Arteta, I don't know. I expected more.
Here's why I kind of feel like maybe folks are being harsh on Fabio Vieira. Didn't play, really.
No.
But also,
again, I don't think they're really. I said it was easy, but at the end of the day, I don't know if I would consider him a flop. I don't really consider any player a flop. Like, could you say maybe Rob Holding? Like, I thought about that, but I'm like, no, he's been at his level. Like, you can't. It's
partially not Vieira's fault, because
that's why I think people are being harsh.
And he's playing a position that he doesn't like. This is not a position he played on his old teams. So this is new. He's in a new country, new language,
new system.
Everything's different. So like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think, and then I'm not gonna poo-poo the host here, but biggest flop. I don't think it's a great. I don't really think there's an answer that I could like fully get on board with.
I mean, if you wanted to attach the word flop to someone, I mean, I think I'll be honest. I'm gonna toot my own horn here and pat myself on the back. I think it's Sambi Lokonga. We heard all of this.
But he didn't play for Arsenal. Like I guess, but he didn't.
But he's been here. But he's been here, and he hasn't done enough to crack a starting 11 other than through injury, and he's basically third or fourth choice.
Like, I agree with you, but he's not. He's technically right now not an Arsenal player. So like I guess you're right.
But sending him out on loan to say you're not going to play here unless we amputate legs in this squad, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get a shirt, or you get the shirt, you're just not going to get any game time, even with 5 substitutions. That's I don't like using the word flop, but
yeah,
if there is one, boy, right now it's got to be Sambi Lokonga, because look, you're sitting behind Granit Xhaka, you're sitting behind Thomas Partey, you're training with those guys every single day, and you can't get it figured out. Maybe it's down to Arteta, but I'm maybe it's because I did hear that Sambi doesn't know his role. Like
that's a good shout too. Sorry.
He's caught halfway between Partey and Xhaka. He's caught halfway between being a 6 and an 8, and for all of the fuss that we heard, him coming in and Vincent Kompany, when he managed him at Anderlecht, and it just like all of this hype, and then like, okay, give him a year. Well, he's had 3. This is his 3rd season, and they had to send him out on loan because, again, this is where Arteta is basically saying you're going out on loan because you're not going to get any playing time here. You need playing time. You're not going to get it here. Marquinhos, which Sam brought up, I think is a little bit of a different story because Marquinhos needs playing time.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know necessarily what we have in him. We know now Sambi Lokonga is, as Ryan said earlier, is not long for the world of Arsenal Football Club. So I
see your Samuel Lokonga and I raise you Nicholas Pepe.
Ew.
Yeah, I forgot he was in the books,
I'm saying this season but he hasn't been here all season.
I know.
But the sentiment is fully appreciated there. I mean,
yeah,
we could just like the biggest flop of the last 5 years. Might be Nicholas
for the team.
Every time I think of Pepe, it's in Unai Emery memories where I'm just like, why doesn't he play him? Forget Pepe.
It's not up here for him.
And I'm with you guys. Lokonga's gone as far as I'm concerned.
And I agree with Sam just on that note. And we'll do a show about this.
I heard that another his contract.
Oh,
again, he's going to leave for nothing.
That's crazy.
As far as Vieira goes, sometimes you get an opportunity, but the window is small. He had a couple of small opportunities to impress, and he didn't.
What else? I'm looking through. What else are we award wise? What else are we?
I don't think I saved my conversations.
Yeah, Glenn, trust me.
This is a good one, Ryan. This was Glenn. Glenn, you were the one that said this. Who needs more minutes next year?
Oh, wish I put some thought into that before I texted it to you. You guys,
I like that one. Who needs more minutes next year?
I got to think because there's a couple. I got it. And
easy.
Ryan's gonna like this.
ESR.
ESR.
Well, you know what though? Hang on. Take him out of the equation. Here's why I say take him out of the equation. Injuries. I have to think he plays more if he's healthy. And he had what? He had core surgery, didn't he? That's not easy to come back from.
And Arsenal take their sweet ass time bringing players back.
Take him out of the equation because I think a lot of the time that he missed was due to injury. So I'm going to say he doesn't qualify.
See, again, like all the players that I'm going to name for you, they're all injured. So I don't think that's really. I don't know who I'm. Then
in that case,
all right. If you're not going to let me say ESR, I wish that. I wish Arteta would have tried something you suggested months ago, which was let Zinchenko play midfield, put Tierney there. I wish Tierney got a few more minutes is basically what I'm saying, since you took ESR away from me.
Fair. That's, yeah.
I mean, if Tierney is here next season, yeah, but I don't think he's going to be here next season.
Okay. Who's going to play left back when Zinchenko gets hurt?
Tomiyasu?
Dublin Gooner, you kind of took my... You kind of took it from me. I was gonna say Reece Nelson, but kind of the same thing that Ryan said. Like I'm contradicting myself a little bit because he was injured as well. But even when he came back from injury, I think I would have liked to have seen a little bit more out of him. I just don't think ESR. I don't think Smith Rowe was ever fully healthy. I just don't. I think that's why he didn't play. I just don't think they trusted the recovery, and I think they just wanted to get through the season without anything more happening to him and just say, okay, look, take the off season, rest the body, get healthy fully, come back in preseason training, ready to get after it. And then of course we see all of the tweets today that, there's been conversation with him and everything else. There's something with Reece Nelson that I really want to see Reece Nelson. It goes back to Arteta, the rotation, trusting players. Go ahead, Glenn.
I just wanted to say, I felt like I was in the minority, but I guess I'm not. When Reece Nelson changed his mind and wanted to stay at Arsenal, I was thrilled.
I'm over the moon for it.
Yeah, and it's championship teams have awesome players like Reece Nelson as an option. So that's all. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Reece Nelson has pace and can finish.
He's not afraid to be brave, which I think it hindered him early on in the season because when you're playing in Arteta's system, you kind of don't have that luxury unless you're Bukayo Saka or Gabriel Martinelli or Gabriel Jesus. But I think Arteta, with this contract, if this contract does pan out and he does stay with the club, I think Arteta is going to slowly start trusting him again. I mean, let's face it, yes, because of injury, but he's like the first guy him and Trossard are the first guys off the bench for us, and I mean, I liked him when he was in the academy. I thought big things of him when he was in the academy. So I mean, this isn't news to me. So I'm happy that he's finally getting his due. And I was nervous because I don't know if I didn't know if he was a player that could really play in an Arteta system, because when you watch him on loan at Hoffenheim and even you watch him in the academy, and even the few games he plays in the cup competitions, kind of pre-Arteta, he's just a guy that he just shows a lot of bravery. He's not afraid to take on a guy. He's not afraid to make situations happen for him and the players around him and in front of him. So yeah, I'm ecstatic to see him stay with us. I think he could be a really good asset to us, and I think he's going to be like a new signing for us for sure.
Yeah, I had a little back and forth with you guys because Reece Nelson's 23 years old, which you brought up after I said if this kid doesn't want to stick with Arsenal, the club that he loves, and fight for a position, then go ahead. I understand you're 23. In football, when you hit 31, 32, they start writing your obituary. So I understood it, but it took you guys talking me into that. So I was all set. Reece Nelson's gone, and like I said earlier, I'm thrilled he's staying.
Yeah, I'm over the moon that hopefully he gets the pen to paper on that new contract. It's not official yet that as far as I know, I've not seen any official word. But
I mean, we said this too, but Sam, I mean, I think to me that's like the best way to describe it. He's
excited.
Sam just said it. Reece is exciting. I think he's exciting. I think he just needs to kind of step his game up, just like a gear. And I think he can if he gets the game time.
Yeah.
And that's going to be tough. But
well,
we got Champions League. I think we're going to hang around in the cup competitions a little bit more now.
It goes back to the point of we're not putting the eggs in one basket. We need to perform well on all four fronts. Now,
if we make the signings, we can do that now.
The Carabao Cup, you look at that and you say, look, I mean, if you're going to prioritize that, obviously is the last priority. That is where early on for us in that competition, we get the rotation. We get some of these younger guys going in there. But if they can't do the job there, are they really going to do the job for us somewhere in a more important competition? But it's another story for another time.
Are we still talking about Reece Nelson? Because whenever Arsenal play the Borat FCs of football, he'll get a chance to play.
Well, we're not playing the Borat FCs of football.
Oh, that's right. We're in the Champions League. Maybe
we're not playing Borat FC in Champions League, but in the same respect, I think we'll play at least definitely one, maybe two teams at least, where I think Reece Nelson should be an instant starter and make an impact and kind of have his here I am party, where I mean, yes, the Bournemouth was kind of that, but but
Carabao Cup and FA Cup.
I would say, I mean, we can debate this later on. I disagree with that. I don't think the Bournemouth was his coming of age. There was a game earlier in the season when he bagged two goals.
Yes, but
I don't remember who it was against.
I agree, but I think people that was a fluke, and I was like, no, he's good. Fair. And then Bournemouth gave everybody, moment of the season, goal of the season. So I mean,
and what he said after the game, what Reece Nelson said after scoring that goal, he said he went on the field. He's like, just give me one chance. Just give me one chance. And he took it. And I know I don't have to sell you on Reece Nelson, BG.
So moving on, and I guess this will be the last one unless you guys think of something afterward.
I think in my opinion, because I think we agreed, I don't know what because Glenn was talking some shit. I think MVP play of the season, we could say what we want to say, because I have two different players for that. And people think it's the same thing. I don't think it's the same thing.
No.
I have two different players. But I'm curious if we could do it really, because I actually don't have much more time. But I kind of want to do, Glenn, you brought it up. Thank you for your service, but it's time to go award. If we want to maybe do that really quick.
Yeah, let's.
I will go last because I'm very curious what you two have to say.
Holding.
Okay.
First name comes to my head, and even when I think about it, Holding. And his magic hair.
I just want to be different, so at least I'll have my.
I'm gonna get roasted for this.
Oh,
first name popped into my head was Sammy Lokonga again. But I'm like,
That,
I kind of
he didn't do any service. That's no. Ooh,
Next time I send you questions.
Wait, was that the name you're gonna roast
No,
for?
that was the first name that popped into my head. I'm letting the anticipation build.
Next time,
I think I know what you're gonna say.
Next time I send you questions before a show, BG, I'm gonna preface it without saying Lakonga.
yeah, right. Ryan, who do you think I'm gonna say?
I have 3.
Okay, who do you?
So
think
you're gonna
I'm
say
going to
one,
say?
and I'm gonna have to choose between 2.
Who do you think I'm gonna say? Pick one. Who do you think?
I think you said you're gonna get roasted. I think people are gonna like this. I think you're gonna say Thomas Partey.
What? Oh my God! I'll just X out
Glenn. He knows me so well.
Yeah, I know. I do.
All right, I'm gonna respect your opinion.
You know what? Listen, it is no Mas Fiesta time at Arsenal Football Club. I mean, kind of saw some things at the end of the season that it's like, okay. I mean, if Jorginho could come in and is doing a better job in this moment because, for whatever reason, whatever was going on with him, making some stupid tackles, stupid fouls and boneheaded decisions with the ball. And it just Glenn, you made the point earlier, 30 to 32, they start writing your obituary. Football is a young man's game, and he's going to be 30. I think he's 30. He'll be 31. Could be wrong. He could be 29, going to be 30. Either way, he's right there on the precipice of his prime is passing him. Now, I have said before that I think defenders mature further deeper into their career. What'd you say?
He's 30 in 2 weeks.
Okay, so he's okay. All right. So he's 30. I couldn't remember if he was going to be 30 or going to be 31. Anyway, I just think his prime has passed him, at least with us. I think he moves abroad. He moves to the continent.
Even if Xhaka leaves,
I mean,
we're going to get at least 2 midfielders in this window.
I also think that if and again, don't want to get into I don't want to have a debate on speculation or anything, but if we want Caicedo from Brighton and we want Declan Rice from West Ham, you really think Thomas Partey is going to play second fiddle to either of those players and be the guy coming off the bench for them, especially when Jorginho is there and you kind of look at him and say, he may even be a better option for 20 or 30 minutes coming in. He may be a better, less is more option than Thomas Partey is. So I would. Boy, I hate rebuilding the midfield all in one foul swoop, but I almost kind of think you have to do it. I almost think if we're going to lose Granit Xhaka, then this might be the perfect time to just let Thomas Partey hand him his walking papers as well. Somebody comes in with 30 to 40 million for him, 25 even. Thank you for your service.
The difference between us is very simple. I think Partey's expiration date is a little longer, going against the grain of, how most players are rated as over the hill at 31. So I think his expiration date has at least 2 more years, and I would like him to stay, and I hope he does.
I also think, real quick, Ryan, before you jump in, the only other caveat to what you just said is there are players where I think you can't just let everyone's contracts run down, otherwise you make no money. And we've been in a really bad rut with not getting money for players. I think we can get a decent little chunk of change for Thomas Partey right now, and I think now is the time to cash in on him so that his value doesn't diminish and we get next to nothing for him. I'll throw that out there as well. Ryan, go ahead.
So the reason why I knew your answer, not because I read your mind, I can't read your mind, but I don't agree. I don't disagree with that. I think that's a really good answer. The only reason why that's not my answer, and I slightly disagree. He was so good at Atletico because he did not play every game. They managed his minutes. They've always managed his minutes, and now that he came to Arsenal, he's playing every game, and he's getting hurt and did this that. I personally don't think he has the body to play every. He just has the body structure, the bone structure to play every game. I think we keep him, and I think he's kind of not the opposite of Xhaka, but he's different than Xhaka in the fact that you could tell him like, hey, we're not going to play you every game, and I think he's going to be okay with that. So I think you kind of leave him in to mentor the midfielder that's coming in and kind of taking his spot and taking over. But I still think he's going to offer you several good games, and like he's still going to be a good player as long as you manage his minutes and play him in the games you need to play him in, but yet keep his fitness, keep him sharp on the ball. Don't play him once a month, but you definitely can't play him every game.
Before you give your choice, Ryan, can I just say, besides Odegaard and Jorginho, I think Partey is the best passer on the team, and I think it'd be a big mistake unless we're going to go nuts crazy during the summer to let Partey go. But I also understand, let's get some money for somebody from once. So I'm not, I'm not saying I disagree with everything you guys are saying. Okay, Ryan, I'm really anxious to hear your choice in this.
So I was torn between two players. I don't know if I want to give two players, but I think
give us both, but then explain one.
So I'm gonna all right. So I'm gonna say my runner-up first. My runner-up, and only because I think he's like already leaving, so it's kind of a shitty thing. But I'm gonna say Granit Xhaka, and I already kind of gave him the most improved player award. So I don't want to give him too many awards. He gets his head blown up, and next thing you know, there's gonna be pictures of me and him like deep fake having sex on the internet. I don't know. But anyway,
I doubt Xhaka's watching this show with one tear streaming down his face.
No, but I like I said, I could safely say I pulled a complete 180. You know, was I crying when he scored? No. But yes, it's very sad to see him go. He's done a job. He was the most improved player for us, and he helped transform this team into what it is. But my number one, thank you for sure it's time to leave, and I kind of alluded to this already, is Eddie Nketiah. I think that we need an upgrade. I think Gabriel Jesus just wasn't the same since he came back from his injury post World Cup, and I just think we need kind of a plan B. We need a target man. We need a big guy, and we just like I said, we're kind of developing a plan B. We're kind of mirroring what we do on the left hand side to the right hand side. Let's change it up. Let's get a different type of striker for us, because we're going to be playing more games, more important games, and I think that it's time we kind of evolutionize our striker position, because we kind of did, where it's kind of like a false nine, but not really. I think we could totally use a different number 9. And then on top of that, and this person wasn't mentioned in all this podcast, I kind of want to say this person too, now that it just popped into my head too, but I think he's already going to be sold also this season. Balogun. I think this is the height of his value, and I think we should, if he doesn't want to go back on, doesn't want to go on loan, which I don't think we do. I think we cash in now. I think this is the most we're ever going to get for him. I think we sell him now. We want to go a different route, striker wise, and
Brentford break
buy
that transfer
striker
record to buy him. 80 million. Brentford buy him for 80 million because they don't have Ivan Toney. He goes and scores 34.
But yeah, my answer is Eddie Nketiah. So
I could be wrong about Balogun, and by the way, I think he's making a mistake deciding to play for the United States in international games.
You're insane.
No,
he's not setting foot near the England squad.
No,
he's going to start.
Get a sniff.
He's going to start, and everyone's like, "Oh, I bet you." Okay, so if he was announced to be in the England squad, if he ever does, which and I don't mean that I just think there's a lot of players in front of him. No one's buying his kit. When he got announced to be an American to play for the USA, I can name at least 3 people that I personally know that bought his kit, that bought his name and his number, and I'm sure there's obviously thousands of others.
Yeah, Arsenal.
It was definitely the right move for his career to play for. He's going to have more eyes. And on top of that, too, like, I like Balogun, but let's not get this twisted. Would Lacazette come in second in goals in Ligue 1? And we're going to like you'll hold Balogun on a pedestal. But then you're going to say, oh, Lacazette couldn't find the back of the net for us last season. Now he goes to Lyon and he's like second to Mbappe. Like I don't really hold Ligue 1 to that high regard.
Yeah.
I think this is where we get the most value for him. I don't think he's going to get any better, or at least his value is not going to get any better for us. I think we just cash in now. I think that's the move.
I know you Go ahead, Glenn. Real quick.
I just 5 seconds.
Yeah.
The only difference between us here is I don't rate Balogun as highly as you guys do. Everything you said about him playing for the United States makes sense. It's just whatever. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I will say though one thing real quick.
And he's also too. He could have played for Nigeria, but I think he would be lower in the pecking. He would be lower than I think America was the.
Well, it's the only.
I think it was
Nigeria is a good team. Yeah.
But he wouldn't get. But it doesn't help his career. I think
No.
USA helps his career. But yeah. Anyways,
I'm like you. I love international football. I love watching.
The only thing I'll say about Balogun and his goal scoring and Ligun and everything, I'll say this. There's something to be said about watching the ball go in the back of the net. As a striker, as a you're the goal scorer. That's your job. I think there's something to be said for confidence, and I will say that I could see him being a 20 to 30 goal scorer next year in the right system. He won't do that here because this system isn't set up for a 20 or 30 goal scorer. It's just not. Where if we have a 20 or 30 goal scorer in this side, it'll be Kylian Mbappe. That'll be no one else in the world will score 20 or 30 goals for this club other than Mbappe or Haaland. That's it. And
I think if Jesus stays healthy,
I was just gonna say that. I don't know that.
I just don't think he gets 20.
I don't like.
He'll get close. I didn't say he would get. I think he would get close.
I think players could get close. I think we could have. I could easily see 4 players in this side next year, just from I'll say that the standard starting 11. I could see 4. I could see all if we throw Odegaard into the front, we'll say 4. So Jesus, Saka, Martinelli, and Odegaard, I could see all of them scoring no less than 15 next season. So, getting close, yeah. So you figure, all right, 2 or 3 get you right on the cusp of 20. The only thing with Balogun, that's the only thing I'll say about Balogun is having gone and done it in that league. Not that it's a great league, but having done it, could come back. And I'm not in a hurry to sell Balogun right now. But if someone comes in at the end of the transfer window with the quote unquote, offer,
I think that's why. I think teams are coming for him now because they realize
I agree with
guy's good.
I'm not selling him.
Now.
What's the least amount of money you'd sell him for? Real quick. The least amount of money you'd take for him. 50?
Yeah,
that's way
honestly,
too much.
that's you're crazy. That was the first time that came to my head. We sold Iwobi and Willock for 40. I think he's way more.
Iwobi went for 35. Yeah, they both.
I think Balogun should be worth more.
I think, and I mean it when I said this. And sorry, I know we're getting off topic, and I'll reel it back in a minute. The Balogun thing, you touched a nerve here. I really think there's a team out there that could come in and offer 80 or 90 for him. I do. Yeah. I really do. And
if they have the money, I agree with you.
And I think, and the team that I think could do it could either be Brighton with the European money that they have coming in.
They're not going to give us that much money.
I think
I don't think it's going to be a team like United, Newcastle, maybe.
I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to play in England.
No, he's going to play for the United States. All right, I need a slight pushback. Please, just give me 30 seconds on a pushback on your thanks for your service, goodbye, Nketiah choice. I'd rather have Nketiah with Trossard pushing him at the striker role than keep Balogun. That's all I'm going to say.
I want to get rid of both of them, Glenn.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Well, I don't want to. I think for where we want to go, I think we should get rid of both of them.
So, all right, again, because I feel like I want to move on because I know, Ryan, you need to leave. And we're almost at 2 hours right now. But
are we? My wife's going to text me soon.
So, player of the year and MVP. There's a difference. It could be the same player, but I'll tell you what the difference is to me. MVP is a player that you can afford to lose the least. In other words, the one player that you lose, you just put your head in your head in your hands. You know, son of a bitch. Best player is just that the best player. You know, and you say, well, what's the difference? You know, if he's the best player, he's probably the player you can afford to lose the least. But there's a difference.
What's the UK's version of MVP? Is it Player of the Season?
Player of the year.
Okay, go on, BG.
So to me, there's a difference, and my answers are going to be different.
Answers
because we're going to do a Player of the Year, and we're going to do an MVP.
Oh, okay. Mine's the same.
So we'll go Player of the Year. I saw what Sam just said. Sam,
I agree. I don't disagree with that at all.
I don't disagree with it at all either. But Sam,
my only issue is
go on.
My only issue is he came to the Premier League 2 years ago, and he was terrible. That's why I don't know. He's 30. Like I don't know. But on paper, I like it. On paper, I actually like it.
Excuse me. I think him going back to Chelsea was
stupid, very dumb.
Yeah.
Anyway, he ruined Pablo Mari's career in England, but for the moment, other than that, he was. Right.
Glenn, what are you going to say?
Oh, well, first, before I forget, Sam has been like brilliant today. You should have just sent him a link. Second,
Sorry,
my player is the same for both categories, and I can give you a quick explanation.
Go for it, Glenn.
Saliba. I think we lost the league because he got hurt. Our defense was the big reason that we were so good this season. And that's it. Saliba for both.
I can be quick because Saliba is actually my MVP.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't like agreeing with you so much.
We lost the league when Saliba went down. I think when he's not in the lineup, we are just not the same team. And you can make an argument for Zinchenko, but Saliba is just defensively, even offensively, we're just a different team. And it's insane how good he is. And he's so young. I think it's tainting me a little bit. Like he's going to be so much better than what he is. I know.
Now. And it's a contract with him now too. How fucking exciting is that?
I just hope his back, because the back could be a lingering thing. That's what I'm worried about. That.
You're like my wife. You worry about everything.
Damn it. I think I have too much Sam dick in my mouth because I agree with Sam.
Tough that analogy.
Sorry, Sam. I apologize. Definitely MVP is Saliba. My player of the season is Martin Odegaard.
He's so good.
I was almost going to pick him. I was going to pick him for most improved player, but I already said no. He's my player of the season. I don't want to give him 2 awards because that's just not nice to the rest of the Arsenal squad. He is just, when we're good, we're great with him. And yes, he's gone missing in some big games. I understand that. But because this year's first year with us, last year was his first year with us, like permanently with us. Such an amazing signing. He's just the things he does with the ball. I wish I could do with my wife, but no, which he could do to me. Anyways. No, I think Martin Odegaard.
Can't unhear that. Go ahead.
Martin Odegaard has transformed this team, and I said this about multiple players today. I know that, but Martin Odegaard is just. He is going to be awesome. I think I don't want to say if that is.
He's already awesome.
Yeah, he's just, and I think what kind of takes him kind of above, because I think Saka was someone I obviously talked about because it's Kaya Saka. What kind of puts him just a notch above Saka is he's our captain, and with Arteta having transformed this club and kind of give us that culture and do things for us and really elevate us as, I'll say, a big club again. Odegaard's had to take that and run, and being our captain and doing what he's doing. I have spies. Doing what he's had to do with this team. Doing what he has to.
Spies. Ryan, are you jerking off in there again?
yeah, right. Doing what he has to do with this team, I think is easy. I don't want to even. Okay. Whatever. It's Martin Odegaard, and he's had to do almost, I want to say almost twice as much work because he is our captain and he's had to really do a lot for this club, and whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch. And
so Saliba is your
MVP and Odegaard's my player of the season. Yeah.
Boy, you're gonna hate me.
No,
we don't work.
No, I don't think if you pick Xhaka for either, I wouldn't be.
So Mark,
I don't.
Martin Odegaard.
We already hate you. Go ahead.
Fair. Martin Odegaard is my player of the year. everything that Ryan just said.
That's why I'm gonna hate you.
Yeah, Martin Odegaard is my player of the year, but my MVP is Granit Xhaka. And
well, I'm just glad. I'm just glad it wasn't fucking Lukonga.
That is,
right. No, Granit.
That's weird. Okay.
Granit Xhaka is the MVP, and I'll tell you why. To have the season that he had this year, after everything that he's been through with this club, all right, he is a leader, and he has been this club's soul since he got here.
Sorry.
Ryan and I are turning into this.
I thought I was muted. Sorry.
He has been the soul of this club since he got here. And yes, you can say that taking off the shirt and the whole, all of that. I've never felt the way about Granit Xhaka that everybody else had, because I know how I would react in the situation that he was in, and everybody says, I don't care. Well, if I'm not a parent, and I know how I felt in that situation. I know how I would react in that situation, and it would be infinitely more visceral than what his was. He's having people on social media threatening to rape his baby girl.
All right. Well,
I'm serious. I mean,
we don't need to talk. Like, what this nothing to do with being MVP? There's nothing to do with
because to come back from
most improved. We gave it to him.
But for people that don't know, go ahead.
The leadership. I don't know. I think that Martin Odegaard will be a great captain for this team. I don't know that happens without Granit Xhaka being here. I think Granit Xhaka has had a profound effect on the leadership hierarchy, if you will, of this club. I think he has been this season, and even maybe a little bit last season, part of the shift.
Yes,
in the culture.
There's no doubt about that.
And that is massive. And for him to have then the performances that he turned in this season and the way that he played more often than not, yes, he had a few games, Ryan, and you very famously said, like, all of a sudden, Xhaka he's not as advanced as what he's been, at other times. I mean, and you were absolutely right. The things that he did on the pitch and in the dressing room, on the training ground, in terms of being a mentor to these guys and being a leader and everything else, I look at it and I say, there's someone else that could pick up most of the slack for Martin Odegaard if we missed him, if he had, through injury, whatever. I don't, but we still have the leadership with Granit Xhaka. If we lose Granit Xhaka, we all know that man, he's probably running right now. While listening to this show, he's probably running because it just seems to be what he does. But I really just, and maybe it's a little bit sentimental.
No,
I don't think
you were one of those people crying when he scored both goals.
I still haven't seen them.
Sobbing your eyes out. You would be. I'll send him to you. Get you a good cry.
My entire timeline, which I had to take a week break from Twitter because it was so friggin' negative as Arsenal collapsed. My entire timeline after that last game was praise for Xhaka, including you, BG. And I gave you a like. Right after the game, you thanked him because it looked like he was definitely gone. I still think he's definitely gone. But anyway, so yeah, it's not unusual. Xhaka is a big reason we're in the Champions League, a huge reason we're in the Champions League. So you don't have to defend it so much, BG.
No, you don't. I don't think he's. The only thing I disagree with was I
wouldn't put him as the best player of the year, and I think Martin Odegaard was our best player this season.
Yeah, I just think, but I feel like you just contradict yourself because you said if you took Odegaard out of the lineup,
well, that's why. But
I
said that
okay.
Before.
You take Xhaka out.
No, I didn't say we would be okay, but
we'll be better off. We'll be better off than Xhaka being out of the lineup, which I completely disagree with. I think nobody has the technical skills that Odegaard has in this team. Not even close. If Xhaka goes down, we have Jorginho, we have Thomas Partey, Vieira. I don't know.
Neither one of those two players are going to do what Granit Xhaka did in that last game.
I think we'll be better than we'll be as good if Odegaard.
I think ESR will be better. I will say that I do think ESR is better, but I'm putting more stock in the Granit Xhaka MVP thing more because of the leadership.
Because you're upset he's leaving and you're crying. It's fine. It's okay.
And so what if I am? So don't judge me, monkey.
I didn't judge me, monkey. Also, yes, and
by the way, Glenn is way too big to drive to the Devil's House.
What? I missed that. I'm too big to what?
I will say an honorable mention for I don't know. See, the problem with this player is I wouldn't know where to put him. Do I put him as an MVP? Do I put him as player of the season? I think he just falls short in both categories, and that's Ramsdale. I think he's tremendous for us this season. Tremendous. He got us so many points, and he's made so many crazy saves. I just don't like, he falls short in both. I don't know what I would do with him, but yeah, shout out to Ramsdale.
Can I ask? I must
have this. He's goalie of the season for me, for Arsenal.
I missed it. What was Sam's gasping player of the season?
Lukaku.
Romelu Lukaku.
Yeah.
As a plan B. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're right on 2 hours there, fellas. This was a good show. A lot of fun.
Hey, any 2 hours away from my wife is a good 2 hours. So yeah.
Wow, boy, it's a good thing she doesn't watch this, or she does. Ryan, she does watch. It's called foreplay.
No, ew, no.
Ew. Wow.
All right, guys. She might have the window open. So let's change the subject.
Glenn,
I brought it up.
Glenn, I thought you'd have a sense of humor about it. After all, you married her.
Yeah, but you'll know after a while when you get married, everything ends.
Ryan, you're the one that's got a bolt. So, final thought.
No, I like doing shows like this where we're giving out awards and we can still argue, agree. I guess no final words because we still have more work to do with tying this season up and rumors and whether we do that in person or on here. I don't know. We'll see. Stay tuned, everybody. But yeah, no, I love doing award shows and this, like when we do the preseason predictions, that's a lot of fun too. Shout out to you guys and can't wait to do it again. And this is me pulling a Glenn. See you guys later.
I changed my wife's text tone. For me, I am really excited about next season. I think that the Cronkies need a shout out, not, people saying sell the team, because we have one of the highest payrolls in the league, but we're spending our money smartly. And I'm going into the summer transfer window really excited because I feel like we could get almost anybody. Can we win the league next year? Yeah, but it'll be tough because Manchester City's still cheating. I see them connected to all these huge names. I'm like, are they just brazenly being illegal in front of everybody? So, yeah, I mean, with everybody they got, I hear them talking about even bigger names. I'm like, how is that even possible? So, I have my tempered reality for what next season will be, no matter who we get in the summer. But I fully expect to be in the hunt and battling for that title for a while next year.
Yeah, I'm 100%. I think now that the step is now, and look, we all say we all expect Newcastle to get better. We all expect Chelsea and Liverpool to get better. It's this is what we want. We want the challenge. We want the competition. If you want it to be easy, being a Manchester City fan can't be fun. I'm sorry, it just can't be. It's like, to me, it's like being a Yankees fan. Where's the fun in that? It's just, well, I guess maybe the LA Dodgers more recently or the Houston app, but anyway, it's just not. It's not fun, especially when you look at how it's done. You're like, I don't know these guys. Like, oh, we got that guy. Where did he play? Sure, I've never heard of them either. But okay, great. If you think he's good, then let's go. And I enjoy seeing the kids come up from the academy. I love seeing the Reece Nelsons of the world, Bukayo Saka's of the world, the Emil Smith Rose of the world coming through our academy, the Rob Holdings of the world.
Ew.
Even though he didn't come through the academy, but he's been here a long time, and I appreciate that.
I do appreciate his love for the club,
and I want to see more of that. I want to see the money spent. I want filling in here, filling in there. But if we can develop the players on our own, That means more to me than just going and throwing money at the problem.
Can I ask you real quick before you finish up? Are you confident the Kroenkes will spend?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Go ahead, finish.
I think they now understand. They have people in place. Edu, Arteta, Richard Garlick, Tim
100%.
Lewis. I think the people in place now have shown them this is the way to do it. You know, we're the Mandalorian. You know, we're Mandalorians. This is the way.
Not season 3.
Yeah. Well, I haven't watched.
Don't even bother. Oh, you haven't watched any of them. Okay.
No, I've watched the first 2 seasons.
Don't even bother. Season 3 is horrible. Go ahead.
Wow. All right. But anyway, we ought to do a Star Wars show.
Oh my God, I would do anything like that. You just tell me when.
But anyway, the thing is, you know, Declan Rice, and we're going to spend a lot of money there potentially. Moises Caicedo, if that's, you know, I mean, he just signed a 4-year contract, a new 4-year contract. So there's going to be a lot of money spent there as well. I mean, we're talking upwards of potentially 170 million pounds on 2 players. But I like seeing players get developed, and that's why I'm so excited and I'm so proud of this team, because these are not just the best of the best players in the world that we just, you know, backed up a Brinks truck to their house and their agent's house and said, take what you want, off we go. You know, we're not doing what City are doing. We're doing it the right way.
Agreed. 100%.
YouTube's not to, you know, they have good players that have come through their academy, sure. But they're not world beaters. You know, Bukayo Saka is going to be a world beater at some point. And
I muted my wife, so hurry up.
All right, fair. No, that's it. That's all I have. I look back at on the season and I just say, you know what, I'm proud. I'm excited for the future as long as we have the summer that we need to have. And it's small improvements. Now, it's not anything major. We look at this team and we say, if I trot the same 11 out there again next year, I like our chances to be right where we are. Maybe not improve on second place, but you know, I like our chances to be in the top 4. And look, I want to compete for the league. I want to compete in the Champions League, and I want to compete for the FA Cup. I really, I'll be honest, that, you know, I know I said all 4 trophies, but Carabao Cup, I don't. That's for the lower. I don't think Premier League teams should even play in that.
I'm with you, man. I think Arsenal has the best front office in the league. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I think we finally have gotten there. The Kroenkes are KSE now understands how this particular sport in this particular country. I think they're now understanding how it works and what they need to do to be competitive and win trophies. And I do think they want to win trophies. I really think they, especially with what the other teams are doing. Rams win the Super Bowl, Avs win the Stanley Cup, Denver Nuggets could win the NBA championship this year, cap it off next year with a Champions League trophy and or the Premier League trophy. And boy, oh boy, you've got to say KSE have done it all right with their teams.
BG, do you want to see my wife pull me off the show with a cane?
Nope, that's it. We're out of here.
Okay.
Get out of here. We'll talk soon. Thanks,
I'll
Glenn.
talk soon. Bye, guys. Oh, bye, God.
Yeah, bye, guy. Yep, that's it, guys. We're out of here. Thank you, everyone in the chat. I'll shout you guys out real quick. YouTube's Dublin Gooner. Sam was in there. Canterbury Gooner was in there as well. James, LL Cool James Johnstone was in there. Ryan, Mr. Arsenal Podcast. I know I saw you in there as well. Just scrolling back up through the chat here. Iconoclast was in there. Good to see him back as well. Brady's Banana. We definitely agreed on a few things, you and I. So keep it coming, guys. We should be back. Hopefully next week we're going to do a probably, you know, a transfer show, ins and outs, who should stay, who should go, and who should we bring in. And obviously, as we all know, this is, you know, it's not done until we see them signing the contract or we get the announcement video or we see them in the shirt, you know. So take everything you see this summer on Twitter and the rumors, take it all with a massive pinch of salt. But thank you, everyone, for being here. If you catch this on the replay, thank you guys also very much as well. Please don't forget to drop us a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you didn't like the show. That's fine too. And if you're not already subscribed, please do so. Tell a friend to subscribe to the channel. If you don't have any friends, tell a family member. If you don't have any family members, tell a coworker. If you don't have any coworkers, then we probably ought to have a talk. So thanks again, everybody. Really appreciate it. Good footy talk. We'll see you out there.